Hello everybody. Today we are discussing whether there's luck in chess. I know the intuitive answer is no, because there are no rolling dices in chess, there are no cards, there are no hidden information. Everything is open information, and we have full information, and we are rationally basing our moves to the best of our abilities, as logical as possible. Okay, so the intuitive answer is no, but I will invite you today with some challenging and interesting positions to reassess this presumption. And I want your feedback about this, okay? Please give me your ideas whether there's a factor of luck involved in the game of chess. Now, let's start with this position. That's a game of mine, like 16 years ago, in a classical game. I'm in a lost position objectively as black because I'm down a pawn and my king is in the center of the board, but I found a resource. I found the resource and I played f5. My hidden idea, can you see my little hidden swindling idea, folks? Yes, the idea is to move the bishop to this diagonal and you see what's going to happen very, very soon, right? My opponent, after only 5 seconds of thinking in a classical game, a very important game, he took back with the g-pawn. It's a blunder because I then went for the queen sacrifice, queen takes b3, and after king takes, you see my real point, right? I swindled him to this checkmate position. You might say, this is not really luck. I agree, because I found this resource, this hidden resource, and I created my own chances. And I actually swindled the opponent because it really looks like it's a move that is striking in the center. It's a very devilish move, in fact. And yeah, this is not really a case of luck, I would say. I won the game deservedly, although objectively, white would still be much better if he would play knight d2, okay? Seeing my threat. Now, there are also some cases where your opponent blunders in a winning position without you forcing anything, without you asking any questions, right? It's an unforced blunder. For example, here, white should be winning with the best play. White's an extra pawn in this pawn endgame. But imagine white goes b3. Can you see how we refute this blunder? Yes, we go b4 and the breakthrough is happening on the queen side, right? After takes, you go a3 and we are queening our pawn first with a winning position. Going back, even this case, to my mind, is not really lucky. Yes, your opponent blundered in a winning position, but it was still black's task to find the winning continuation, correct? So still you need to rely on your chess skills to punish this blunder. So this is also the case, to my mind, that is not really lucky. You cannot call black lucky in the game because black still needs to find this resource of the breakthrough idea, right? Black is winning in all variations, of course. Now, Jonathan Rowson said, my opponent was lucky because he was playing against an idiot, right? So there's actually kind of an interesting factor about this, that sometimes your opponent really makes a horrible move in a winning position, allowing you to win the game easily without even much searching. In this case, white, Nigel short with white pieces. White is a good position, but he goes king e6. It allows, can you see it? Yes, it allows a mate in one. Incredible, right? Even grandmasters can sometimes blunder a mate in one. This is a borderline case because how difficult was it for black, right, to find the mate in one? It really looks like let's say, a more lucky version for black compared to the previous example we looked at, right? Because in the previous example, we still had to find that breakthrough idea, but here, you just need to find this check on the board. Yes, you still need to find it, but again, right, you see, there's like a borderline case that is going on here. That sometimes really the opponent is gifting a victory to us in a golden plate. But in my definition, even this you cannot really call lucky. Now let's talk about those cases which I call as you can get lucky in chess. In this position, white is an extra pawn. And with best play, white should win this position. Imagine in the actual game, white goes g4, thinking that, hey, well, that's the way to push your majority, right? You need to create a pass pawn, create a pass pawn on the king side, push it, distract the black king, and win the game on the queen side. And imagine white goes g4 without much analysis. And then black strikes back with the move g5. Oh my god. If this move came to you like a cold shower, if you played g4 without anticipating this response, and if you're winning anyways, then I would call this a lucky case in chess. You see my point? You don't calculate properly, you totally miss an opponent's response, but only then it turns out with normal sequences of moves, you're still winning anyways. Then I think in my book, then you got lucky there. For example, here white is winning with this sequence, right? Because white is queening first. But white did not see this before playing g4, right? We are talking about subjective definitions perhaps in this case, but chess is a very concrete and logical game, and you didn't really calculate at all objectively the consequences of g5, then I would say you got lucky in this line that things have worked in your favor, right? Change one little detail, maybe it would be black who would be winning this position. You had no control, you entered the line without any control, and that's a very forcing line in this case. White is not much choice after this, right? And it turns out that white was winning eventually anyways, and you got lucky in my book. Another extreme version of what I just meant by you can get lucky in chess, folks. It's white to play in this position, and imagine that you look at this pawn on g7, there's so much pressure going on there, and you decide to play the move queen f8, right? With the sole purpose of really finishing off the game on the g7 square. And imagine that your opponent struck you with the move queen g3 check. And you didn't anticipate this move at all. You didn't see it at all. You had no idea that this was coming at you, right? Before playing queen f8. And now it turns out there's no turning back. You have to follow the whole sequence until the very end, right? It's almost mate, but you're lucky as you have queen f1 retreat in this position. And white is winning this position. But the key question is, did you anticipate this line before going queen f8, right? So here's exactly the point in this video, the main crux of this video. I would say, in my definition, white gets lucky if white plays queen f8 without seeing this resource for black, and it turns out that it's working for white anyways, right? Change one little detail, queen f1 is no longer there, and you're lost. You see the bottom line here? It really shows us the importance of calculation in chess and the importance of you always noticing and actively searching for the best reply by the opponent, right? You have to be like a scientist. You have to be seeking for counter evidence from the world before playing a move like this. Yes, it really looks like it's a winning move, right? You're going to win the game on the next move, but that's exactly when the responsibility should go higher, right? You have to really search for all possible checks by the opponent against your beautiful move, go deeper, follow that forcing line, and conclude at the very end that you're winning by a sequence of moves. Never make a move in a sharp position like this based on a single move threat, right? You have to analyze and calculate some blinds. If you didn't do it, and if you found yourself in this situation where queen f1 was saving you, then you got lucky. It's a caveat, guys. There are some exceptions to this rule. Do you remember this position? I gave you this position at some point. Black is about to make a queen, but is this a good move for black or not? Please take your time, stop the video, and analyze the consequences of a1 equals queen. Well, in the actual game, Tarash went a1 equals queen, and the opponent struck him with the move rook g7 check. My question is, have you seen this move before queening your pawn? If you didn't, then now it's your chance to figure out whether you're still winning this position or not. Because here black has a choice, right? Black can take the rook or black can escape. There is still play left in the position. It's not like the previous example. Yeah? There's no other response. You have to find the queen f1 response and you're winning. Here we have a choice. This means even though you missed rook g7 check, which was a big miss, you can still win the game by playing out the right moves. Obviously, it's easy to understand. If you take the rook, it's stalemate, right? White is dropping this position. But then you use your chess calculation skills. You look a little bit deeper. He will, of course, do this check. You don't take the rook. He will do this check. And can you tell me the winning move here? Yes, King f8. There's no more meaningful check left. Well, there are a couple of them left, but in both cases, I will take your rook, and it's no longer a stalemate, right? The white king will find a way to take the pawn, and we are winning this position. So my point is this. This is a borderline case. You might call yourself lucky in some sense that you still won this position, but here, right, you're not playing out the consequences until the very end. There's still play left. You need to find the right move. You have a choice to make in this position. Although I would say rook g7 is still a big slip that you should not have allowed white to make, right? You should have seen this before playing a1 equals queen. To reinforce last example, imagine that in this position, white looks at his pieces on the e-file, sees the bishop on e7 as a loose piece, and contemplates the move bishop takes h6, followed by, right, queen takes e7, winning a pawn. And imagine white plays this move without much analysis and calculation. And suddenly black hits white with the counter-attacking move bishop d6. Now, again, the game is not over. White needs to readjust. Even though white missed this move, white can still take a step back and find the winning move in this position. What's that? Can you tell me? Yes, the winning move is queen g5 because I save my bishop and I hit the pawn on g7. So, did white get lucky? That's my question, right? In some sense, yes, because white totally missed this counter-attacking response bishop d6. White should have seen this before taking on h6, right? You need to look at the opponent's best replies against your moves. But chess is a complex game. There are dynamics happening all the time, and you need to readjust. Even though you missed one move, you can still take a step back and use your chess skills to find the best move in that position. So, should we call this case getting half lucky, right? You tell me. You give me feedback, folks. I'm also inviting all the chess community here to discuss philosophically whether we can talk about luck in the game of chess. I will leave you guys with this position again, which in my definition gets the closest to you get lucky in chess, especially if the entire line is forced. There's no turning back for you, right? You have to basically go through the entire sequence and pray for God that you're winning in that position, just like in this case, right? If you had no idea that this was coming at you before going queen f8 and you were still winning this position in the end, then in my book, you got lucky. I want your feedback about this, folks. Please share your ideas, share your own stories with me. Can we talk about luck in chess? As you remember, Jonathan Rowson says, my opponent was lucky because he was playing against an idiot, right? To my mind, it's more complex than that. Obviously, your opponent sometimes make terrible mistakes in winning positions and you win, but you still need to find, right, that winning sequence. And that takes a skill. Whether versus this position where, well, there's no turning back. White has to go with the flow, basically, right? If you like the video, please give me a like and subscribe. And I will catch you on the next one with such interesting discussions about philosophy, psychology, and chess. Thank you so much, guys. Bye-bye.